going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman, and if it seems like I'm a little bit more cheery today, it's because we're finally getting some wins, guys. Check out this story from True North. Canadian students reject the drag queen event at high school. Despite what radical LGBTQ activists and legacy media claim, many Canadians are very uncomfortable with drag queens dancing in front of students. This was clear today in Toronto as students protested a drag queen event following York Mills Collegiate Institute's decision to host a drag queen event in front of a select number of students. A group of students organized a protest against the event on Wednesday afternoon. The protest was organized by Save Canada, a nonprofit organization that is opposed to radical gender ideology in Canadian schools. Protest organizer Josh Alexander said his organization takes issue with the fact that kids are being indoctrinated in the education system with gender ideology. True North's Harrison Faulkner spoke to parents and students today outside of the Toronto high school. Now, I know what you're thinking. Kendall, this is in Canada. What does this have to do with me? A lot, actually, because whatever happens in Canada tends to have effects on the United States because they're right freaking next to us. But it's contagious, guys. It's contagious. The Texas Senate has criminalized child grooming. Child grooming will be a crime in Texas under measures approved by the state Senate to combat the increasingly pervasive evil of sexually exploiting and trafficking children. Grooming refers to an act of deliberately establishing a connection with a child in an attempt to subject them to sexual abuse or human trafficking. This new anti-grooming provisions in Senate Bill 1527 by State Senator Joanne Huffman, a Republican from Houston, and Senate Bill 1562 by State Senator Kelly Hancock, a Republican from North Richland Hills, increase state and local officials' authority to investigate, prosecute, and prevent child sex trafficking. The bills create a criminal offense for an adult who intentionally acts or attempts to coerce, entice, induce, or persuade a child younger than 18 years of age to engage in sexual activity or conduct that constitutes a criminal sexual act on the part of the adult, or who makes a child a party to a sex crime. Child grooming will be a third-degree felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Proponents say the anti-grooming measures will provide a law enforcement with a critical tool in the battle against the sexual exploitation of children. Guys, it's not huge, but it's a win. Both of these things are massive wins. There was some video about this protest in Canada. These kids are smart, man. They're not dumb. Gen Z is not as dumb as we think they are. And I'm like on the very beginning of I'm like a zillennial, I think they call it. I'm like right in the middle, okay? So look, guys, Gen Z is not as dumb as we think they are. They're a very smart generation. They are being faced with a lot of things that other generations are not faced with or were not faced with in the past, okay? But we can't give up on them. At the end of the day, Gen Z is still smart. They're still able to find what the truth is. And at the end of the day, that truth is contagious. And it's being led to things like this, legislation being passed in the states to protect children from these evil grooming laws, this LGBTQ agenda that is going after children. Guys, I'm very excited about this. There has to be a major punishment for grooming these children. And law enforcement, up until this point, has not done anything. And honestly, I don't know if this will cause them to do anything either. But at the end of the day, this is just we didn't really have anything in the state of Texas until this. You know, we have federal law, of course, that is there to stop things like this. But the federal government doesn't, they're idiots. They don't do anything. They're garbage. we needed some Texas legislation to be able to put a crackdown on this type of stuff, especially because Texas is one of the worst states in the country for child sex trafficking. It truly is, because it's such a massive state, and we have so many different highways coming in and out and everything. You can have a child go missing in a major city, and within 2 minutes, the perpetrator can be on a highway and 3 hours away. It's very difficult, very hard to catch these people because there's so many different avenues of escape. So the idea is to try to stop the grooming that does eventually lead to the trafficking. If you can stop the grooming, you can stop the trafficking. And if we can stop the grooming, we can stop this evil LGBTQ agenda that's going after our kids. And we know that they're going after our kids because we've seen video and we've seen pictures of drag shows, very inappropriate drag shows, with children there in the crowd. I mean, it's quite obvious, guys. They're going after your children. And especially after these blue states are passing legislation that specifically states they're going after your kids. For example, in Washington State, they just recently passed a law stating that if a parent tries to defend their child from being transitioned into a different gender, then the parent can be thrown in jail. They will jail you if you try to protect your kids from the state woke religion, from the state woke cult. That's what they'll do. They'll throw you in jail. It's absolutely insane. And guys, we have to keep pushing for things like this so that we can stop this agenda in America. All right, guys, I got another story coming for you in just a second. But before I get into that, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about these stories, guys. I'm excited about them. I think it's great, and I think we need more of it. All right, guys, let's get into this next story from Timcast. Breaking: Mitch McConnell may retire following injury from last month. The Senate Minority Leader suffered a concussion and a possible brain damage. Now, I said that I was excited at the beginning of this video because we're getting some big wins, and I am, because this is a win. But obviously, I'm not going to sit here and celebrate the fact that, the guy might have brain damage. Obviously, I'm not celebrating that because no one wants to, no one would do that. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing to celebrate. However, I will sit here and celebrate the fact that he might be retiring because let's be honest, Mitch McConnell has been a stain on the Republican Party for a very long time. Let's read. McConnell, who suffered a concussion and possible brain damage after falling last month, spent 6 days in a hospital recovering before being discharged to an inpatient rehabilitation facility to receive care for a brain injury, Conservative Brief reported. Senators John Barrasso of Wyoming and John Cornyn of Texas and John Thune of South Dakota are reportedly preparing for an anticipated leadership vote, according to The Spectator. A leadership vote is expected should McConnell announce his retirement from his position and the Senate. The Senate Minority Leader announced he would return to the Senate on Monday, appearing to contradict reports of his retirement. We've got important business to tackle and big fights to win for Kentuckians and the American people, wrote McConnell. On March 8th, the Senate Minority Leader fell at a dinner event for the Senate Leadership Fund at the Waldorf Astoria, formerly a Trump property in Washington, D.C. The Senate Minority Leader secured a contentious leadership vote last year with 16 Republican senators defecting in support of Florida Senator Rick Scott. McConnell, who originally secured his role as Senate Majority Leader in 2015, assumed the Senate Minority Leadership role following the 2020 general election. The Kentucky senator is the longest-serving party leader in the history of the Senate, behind late Montana Senator Mike Mansfield. This is a developing story that will be updated as more information becomes available. Mitch McConnell, you will almost guaranteedly never see this video. But by some off chance that you do, or by some off chance that someone shows it to you, retire. Please get out of our party, for heaven's sakes, man. Gosh, the fact that you're the minority leader, why on earth, who decided to make you the leader of our party? Who decided that? Just retire, man. For those of you who are wondering why I'm very upset with Mr. Mitch McConnell, most of you would probably already know if you're watching my videos. He's a stain on the Republican Party. This is a guy who will often side with Democrats more than the party he claims to be a part of. He's a rhino, a Republican in name only. It's garbage. It's garbage. He has always sided with Democrats on many different things, almost never sided with Republicans. And the stuff that he sides with the Democrats on is some of the most extreme things, specifically the Ukraine war. Many of you might remember that at the most recent State of the Union address by Mr. President Biden, Mr. Mitch McConnell was wearing a little pin of the Ukraine flag, even though he is a senator from the United States. Guys, Mitch McConnell is a warmonger. Mitch McConnell is a man who will destroy the Republican Party if it means that he gets to stay in power. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. And I think everyone who wants this guy gone out of our party should be contacting him, say, hey, get the frick out of here. We don't want you. Leave. Just contact him and tell him that. Like, say, hey, we're done with you. Retire. Go away. No one wants you in this party anymore. Go away. We're done. It's ridiculous. All right, I got another story coming here in just a second. But before I do, make sure you guys are following me on Rumble. YouTube does not like when I talk about things like this, specifically things like the trans agenda, specifically things like the war in Ukraine. They don't like what I got to say, so they're going to they're going to censor me and stuff. So make sure you guys go follow me on Rumble at Freedom Fire Podcast, so that I can, we can grow the channel over there and we can get rid of this censorship garbage. All right, guys, another story here from Timcast. Almost 1/3 of New Yorkers want to leave the state. According to a new poll, nearly 1/3 of New Yorkers want to move out of the state. The Siena College poll, conducted March 6th through the 9th, found that nearly 1/3 of New Yorkers are upset with inept political leadership. A stunning 30% of respondents, who also cited inept political leadership and soaring taxes as reasons for wanting to flee, said they already longed to live somewhere else, according to a Siena College Research Institute Quality of Life poll. The New York Post reports nearly 1/3, about 31%, plan to leave the Empire State when they retire, while even more said they believe it's not safe for children. Big, guys. This is big. The number of residents planning to leave has skyrocketed since the same poll was conducted in 2017, when 82% of residents said they were satisfied where they lived and 67% felt safe in their neighborhoods. These are high numbers. These are take your breath away numbers, Don Levy, SCRI's poll director, said of the results. Nearly half, 49%, said they do not feel safe from crime in the state. Women fear for their safety in a larger number, with 57% saying that they did not feel safe. A whopping 40% of respondents said that the state is not a good place to raise children, which skyrocketed to 61% among black respondents. The Post report also noted that 57% said the political system doesn't work for them, compared to 38% who said it did. Democrats rule New York politics. New York's affordability challenge is to a great extent a self-inflicted problem stemming from tax and regulatory policies. Everything from healthcare to energy to home ownership is more expensive than it needs to be, Tim Hoffer, CEO of the Empire Center for Public Policy, told the paper. One of the top things people consider when they're deciding where to live is the quality of the schools. New York spends over $25,000 per student. Just to give you guys a metric here, Texas spends, I want to say, around $16,000. So the state of New York is spending about $10,000 more dollars than the state of Texas is, which is crazy. $25,000 per student, but we don't get the sort of results that kind of money should buy us. That's because many state officials are focused more on what the teachers union want than on what children and families need, Hoffer continued. Guys, I love this. I freaking love this. New York, which has been controlled by Democrats for a long time, is a failing state, and I love it. I absolutely love it, because at the end of the day, people are going to leave these states. They're going to spread out all over the country. They're going to go to Florida. They're going to go to Texas. They're going to go to, Arizona. They're going to go to, Colorado. They're going to spread out all over the country. And when these people leave states like New York, and it's happening in places like California, Oregon, Washington, all over the West Coast. It's happening in a lot of these Democrat-controlled states. People are leaving, people are moving away, and these states are losing power. It's incredible. Whenever people move away from them, it lowers their population, and their population becomes less powerful politically, because obviously you have electoral votes and things like that are controlled by the population of your state. Guys, let them do it. Let them destroy their own states, because at the end of the day, their states will become crap holes that nobody wants to live in. This is what happens every time a Democrat is in control of a city. That's why the freaking Democrats down in Austin are so hated. Austin, Texas, mind you. Everybody hates these people because they're ruining the great city of Austin. It's happening in Dallas. It's happening in Fort Worth. It's happening in El Paso. It's happening in San Antonio. It's happening in Houston. Cities in Texas at least the big cities in Texas, are controlled by Democrats, and you can tell when you go there. For example, this was back in, I want to say like 2016. I went down to San Antonio. I went down to San Antonio with a friend, and it was nice. It was very nice. It was a very clean city. Still lots of tourism. It was very clean, like I said. Very little homeless population. Very little at all. You would walk around and you would feel completely safe. Then in 2020, I decided I was going to go down there with my wife, because my image in my head about what San Antonio was this, very clean, very safe city. And then we went there for a little vacation, and there's homeless people everywhere. There's trash all over the streets. There's homeless people digging through garbage. There's a homeless man urinating in the middle of the street on a dumpster. Guys, and this is happening like right on the boardwalk in San Antonio, which is like that's like a major touristy area where there's a lot of restaurants and shops and all types of stuff, it's also very close to the Alamo, which of course is a very touristy area in its own right. Guys, these Democrats destroy everything that they touch. All of their policies are garbage. They don't know how to run cities. They don't know how to run states. I believe that if you are in a Republican-led state, do everything that you can to stop the Democrats. But if you're in a Democrat-controlled state, let them destroy it. Let them destroy New York City. Let them destroy California. Let them destroy Oregon and Washington. Let them freaking do it. If you want, if you live in one of those states and you're a conservative, come move to Texas. Come move to Florida. Get the mess out of there and let them destroy that crap, guys. Let them destroy it. Because at the end of the day, whenever they destroy it, all those people are going to migrate out of that state, and that state will no longer have the power that it once had. And I think that's important. It's important that we put California in check, that we put New York in check, and at the end of the day, the best way for us as the average everyday blue collar civilian to do is to move with your feet. Vote with your feet. Excuse me. Vote with your feet, guys. Get out of there. If it's not working for you, then move. You got to get out, you got to leave, and you got to move to a state that you can help. You know what I'm saying? If you're a conservative in New York, if you're a conservative in California or on the West Coast at all, come to Texas, come to Florida. Help make these states even more red and leave those garbage states to just be, destroyed by the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, whenever you move out, whenever all the conservatives move out, it's going to lower their population, and their states will no longer have the power that they had. And I love it. I love it. Let's move all of the power to the red states so that the Democrats can be completely expelled and pushed out from our country. And this agenda that they're pushing, this woke garbage agenda, can be held in check. All right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I will have another story coming for you guys on Wednesday. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. Make sure you're following me on Rumble to fight the censorship on YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.